The idea that the Earth is a flat disk or plane comes from most ancient civilizations, including Egypt and Greece. In early Mesopotamian mythology, the world was portrayed as a flat disk, floating in the ocean, with a hemispherical sky dome above, and this forms the premise for early world maps. The famous FlatEarth Flammarion engraving from 1888 depicts a traveler who arrives at the edge of a flat Earth and pokes his head out through the firmament. The earliest documented mention of the spherical Earth concept dates back from the 6th century BC, when it appeared in ancient Greek philosophy with Pythagoras, and later Aristotle and Euclid wrote about the Earth as a sphere, but remained a matter of speculation until the 3rd century BC. It is said that Aristotle provided evidence for the spherical shape of the Earth on empirical grounds around 330 BC. Ptolemy wrote geography at the height of the Roman Empire, 1,300 years before Columbus sailed, and considered the idea of a round planet. In 1543, Nicholas Copernicus proposed the first heliocentric model of the universe. The spherical Earth gradually began to spread beyond the Hellenistic world. From then on, and the concept of a spherical Earth replaced earlier beliefs in a flat Earth. Most of the ancient cultures believed that the Earth was flat, the same ancient cultures that built the pyramids and seem to have more knowledge about our world and universe than we do today. Many religious texts also refer to the Earth as a flat disk or a plane with an impenetrable dome, known as the firmament. And we made the sky, a protected canopy, yet they turned away from its signs.
What are the chances that the sun and the moon are the same size, shape, and can perfectly eclipse? That's a 1 in a billion, folks.
Another being the fake Photoshop pictures that we see of the Earth. Look at the official images that NASA presents to the public. The size of North America changes with every new picture. What would be the reason for that? Well, NASA employee Robert Simon has gone on record saying that the Earth is photoshopped because it has to be. So why don't we have any real pictures of the Earth? Is it possible that the Gleason's map could be the actual map of the world? It states at the top, scientifically and practically correct, as it is. This map is the same map used for the United Nations logo. The map says at the bottom that the sun moves in circles around the tropics, meaning that Alexander Gleason, the creator of the map, suspected that the Earth didn't move. Also, Gleason wrote a book called Is the Bible from Heaven? Is the Earth a Globe? Here are some interesting clips about the maps that we use today.
How many of you have ever seen this map?
Seen that map?
Isn't this the map that you use K through 16 in the United States of America? Now, folks, look at this map. According to your social studies teacher, what is the equator?
Right
An imaginary line where?
Yeah.
Around the center of the Earth. Then if this map is correct, then the equator must be here, and Chicago has a tropical climate. Now, folks, this is the map that we use in the schools. Look where the United States is, in the middle of the world, right? Now, here's the USSR, which is no more, of course, Mongolia, China, Africa, India, Pakistan, Afghanistan. Now, look over here. USSR, Mongolia, China, India, Pakistan, Afghanistan. Two Indias here. We have 2 Indias. Did you know that? Now, people, this is a flat-out lie. Look at the size of Greenland and the size of South America. According to your social studies teachers, what were continents? Largest land masses on the face of the Earth, right? Now, do you know the continents? Africa, Asia, Australia, Antarctica, Europe, North America, and South America. Did I say Greenland? Well, Greenland isn't a continent, but it's a huge landmass according to this map, right? The map is a flat-out lie, people. If you read the legend on the map, here it says, in fact, South America is actually 9 times larger than Greenland.
Are you saying the map is wrong?
Oh dear, yes. Look at Greenland.
Okay.
Now look at Africa.
Okay.
The 2 land masses appear to be roughly the same size.
Yes.
It would blow your mind if I told you that Africa is in reality 14 times larger.
Yes?
Here we have Europe, drawn considerably larger than South America. When it's 6.9 million square miles, South America is almost double the size of Europe's 3.8 million.
Alaska appears 3 times as large as Mexico, when Mexico is larger by 0.1 million square miles.
Germany appears in the middle of the map when it's in the northernmost quarter of the Earth.
Wait. Relative size is one thing, but you're telling me that Germany isn't where we think it is?
Nothing's where you think it is.
It is speculated by many that perhaps the plane that we live on is either extremely expansive or it's possibly endless. Is it possible that more land is being hidden from the general public? In a 1954 interview with Admiral Richard E. Byrd, who was an American naval officer and explorer, had this to say. But strangely enough, left in the world today is an area as big as the United States that has never been seen by a human being, and that's beyond the pole, on the other side of the South Pole, from Middle America. And I think it's quite astonishing that there should be an area as big as that unexplored. It sounds a lot like he is implying that there is more land past Antarctica. A recent discovery of an ancient Buddhist map in a newspaper from 1907 seems to support the idea of a vast, expansive Earth with many more continents past the Arctic ice walls. How fast does Earth orbit the Sun? The Earth's orbit speed around the Sun is about 67,000 miles per hour, 107,000 kilometers an hour, according to Cornell.
One of the greatest proofs that the Earth is flat. We're spinning at 1,000 miles an hour. We're orbiting in the heliocentric model of the Earth, the Sun at 66,600 miles an hour. While doing that, we're chasing the Sun at almost 500,000 miles per hour. So we're corkscrewing and spinning through an infinite universe, never to return to where we were before. The Georgia Guidestones had a little hole drilled in the middle stone, and if you look through it, there is the star Polaris, our North Star. How can we be traveling in all these different directions, traveling infinite distances, and that star just always remains in that hole? There's no way it would be in that circle a day, let alone 40 years. But it was there.
Somebody blew it up.
It's interesting to me that most people believe in a spinning ball traveling at speeds that you can't even imagine, yet they have a problem with a stationary Earth that doesn't move. Just remember that gravity has never been proven as an unquestionable truth.
If gravity is causing us to spin as we orbit the Sun, then why doesn't the Moon spin as it orbits us? Uh-oh! Houston, we have a problem with the heliocentric model. It's kinda sus.
Everything on which science bases itself are only evidences, and evidences are not proofs. A logical, alternative explanation would have to be density and buoyancy. If something is heavier than air, it will fall, and if something is lighter than air, it floats. Very simple.
And if the Sun is an explosion of hydrogen and helium gas in an infinite space vacuum, where is it getting its oxygen from? And when have you ever seen a perfectly circular explosion? Never!
The Apollo 8 spaceflight mission in the United States was launched on December 21st, 1968, and is reported to be the first manned spacecraft to leave Earth's orbit and return safely to Earth. The crew of Apollo 8, Bill Anders, Jim Lovell, and Frank Borman recited Genesis chapter 1, verses 1 through 10 using the King James Version text as they supposedly orbited the moon. In their own words, goes as follows, "And God said, Let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters. And God made the firmament, and divided the waters which were under the firmament from the waters which were above the firmament. And it was so. And God called the firmament heaven, and the evening and the morning were the second day." Frank Borman. "And God said, Let the waters under the heaven be gathered together unto one place, and let the dry land appear. And it was so." So my question is this: being the first crew to leave Earth's orbit, why on earth would all three men feel compelled to read from the book of Genesis at that particular moment in time, in what was the most watched television broadcast ever in the history at the time? My guess is that they read those particular verses because that is what best describes the vision they saw when they witnessed the firmament with their own eyes. And of course, I may be wrong, and you could decide for yourself.
Here's like a perfect example of them landing on the moon. I mean, it's proof right there. This is an official NASA photo of the first Apollo 11 lunar module landing on the moon. I mean, it's right there. This is proof, man. It's the pictures right there. It's landing on the moon. But the only problem I have with this picture is that it's taken from the moon. I don't know what the big deal was with being the first guy on the moon. It seems the camera crew was already there. The tripod.
There is no doubt in my mind that NASA and the governments of the world have been hiding much information from the public, and I believe that it is our duty to find the truth and share it with the rest of the world. I believe that people have the right to know the truth. We have the right to ask questions when we don't fully understand something. My final conclusion. After going over most of the given evidence that has been presented to us from both sides, I would have to say that for me personally, it makes more sense that the world would be a flat plane. And the more I think of a spinning globe moving at supersonic speeds that I can't even understand, the more I think we've been lied to. Either these people can't seem to get anything right, or they are possibly plotting for world domination, and most likely something that has to do with aliens that come from another so-called planet. With all the movies and talk about ancient aliens and superheroes from other planets, it wouldn't surprise me at all. I personally don't think that aliens exist, and it looks a lot like the Jesuits, Vatican, NASA, SpaceX, and the governments of the world, and whoever else they are working with, are behind all this deception. So why would they do that? By creating a fake universe with spherical planets everywhere would keep the people from figuring out the truth.
The strategy that Wernher von Braun taught me was that first the Russians are going to be considered to be the enemy. In fact, when I met him in '74, they were the enemy, the identified enemy. We were told that they had killer satellites. We were told that they were coming to get us and control us, the dirty commies, that whole story. First, the Russians were the enemy against whom we're going to build space-based weapons. Then terrorists would be identified, and that was soon to follow. We heard a lot about terrorism. And the next enemy was asteroids. Now, at this point, he kind of chuckled the first time he said it. Asteroids, against asteroids, we're going to build space-based weapons. So it was funny then. And the funniest one of all was against what he called aliens, extraterrestrials. That would be the final card. And over and over and over, during the 4 years that I knew him and was giving his speeches for him, he would bring up that last card. And remember, Carol, the last card is the alien card. We're going to have to build space-based weapons against aliens. And all of it, he said, is a lie. A lie.
A sixth branch of the United States Armed Forces called the Space Force.
Asgardia, the first space nation of the united humankind, has been born.
This is the Galileo satellite. Full authentic NASA imagery of the Galileo satellite. Must have cost like $1 trillion for this operation. Very expensive. This is the Galileo satellite. They never knew it would go that far and reach Jupiter. You know, they didn't know. It's the first time anything goes that far. It managed to get there. There's Jupiter. There's one of its moons. I mean, it's clearly lining up to take some really good photos of Jupiter. Immediately followed by a camera satellite. Perfectly composing the whole shot out in outer space. Amazing, eh? What the cameras can do when they fly. It's into outer space, a place we've never been to. That's amazing. Look at that. That's perfect. That's like the photo of the year, if you ask me. For a satellite to be able to like, oh, what is that? I guess this is a photo of the Hubble telescope taking a picture of itself. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. That's an authentic photo of the Hubble telescope out there doing its job. Isn't that amazing how they could take a photo of the thing taking photos? Out in outer space. Unbelievable. You know, they never crossed Antarctica, but let's go to the moon and take pictures out in space. That's unbelievable. You know, the instruments won't work in Antarctica. It's too cold, but hey, let's go somewhere where we don't know the instruments will work. That's unbelievable. I can't, it just boggles my mind how they do this stuff.
All truth goes through 3 stages. At first it is ridiculed. In the second, it is violently rejected. In the third, it is accepted as self-evident.